One that I've often looked at Vinegar Syndrome and been really curious about was Cutting Class, a late 80s slasher that stars Brad Pitt. And I kind of expected this to be an almost like George Clooney Return to Horror High effect, where he's in there for a little bit, but not really the main kind of star. No, definitely here, Brad Pitt is one of the three main players, and he is in a lot of the movie, along with Donovan Leitch and Jill Schoelen. And these three characters of Brian, Paula, and Dwight are high school acquaintances. We get an idea right at the start that Brian has been released from a mental hospital, and we get the red herring starting already that he's the killer, as we start to see that he's a little bit different, a little bit stilted and removed from the society. Dwight is the jock, the Brad Pitt character. He is kind of aggressive, abrasive, in everybody's face, and he is dating Paula. And these are the three main characters of the story. And at the start, we get Paula's dad going away for a hunting trip. Unfortunately, turns out that he is the one that's being hunted and is shot with an arrow. And from then on, we have lots of kind of sequences of people who are wronging various characters being taken out throughout the school. And it is to somewhat a typical kind of slasher movie. But there is something in the later half that really changes this about a good part. But most of the movie is familiar, formulaic, and typical of the genre. But I kind of liked it. It felt a kind of familiarity with that material. It's nothing exemplary above the typical slasher, but it's still a decent enough entry in that subgenre. There is a terrific supporting cast in this as well. We got Roddy McDowall as a rather lecherous principal of a school, and Martin Mull as well. It's a really good cast thrown in here, although some of the ideas behind some of the things that people go up to, particularly the males in this one, are a little bit atrocious, particularly Roddy McDowall's character, who is just wrong in so many levels. But you get there when you get to that part. We've got the janitor in this place that looks a little bit terrifying as well, and he's quite happy to just shout and berate at kids, threatening them when he has to. And this is a movie that tries to touch on little things like peer pressure from parents in little segments as well as the parental figures in amongst these three kids' lives, but it never really evolves on it too much, and it doesn't really matter in the end. This movie has a really weird tone within it, where it keeps having these comedic moments that are quite on the nose, supposed to be funny, like Paula's dad. We go back to him several times throughout the movie. We see him getting shot at the start. We think he's died. We keep going back to him, and somehow he's still surviving, somehow trying to trek back to his hometown with funny situations each time. And I really did kind of like these moments. I found them quite alleviating of some of the atmosphere that we had, quite funny and quite endearing. I looked forward to them. After the first couple of times I was a little bit unsure of them, I looked forward to going back to see what the hell this character was trudging through now. The reveal of the movie is where I think a lot of the crux of it should be. The perpetrator, the person behind this crime, I think the filmmakers made the wrong choice. And I think it's a bold choice because it's an unexpected one, or it was in my eyes anyway, but I just don't think it fits within the story. I don't think it really feels true to this kind of slasher movie. I think it would have been better to have been the other person that we lean towards. It just feels more creative that way. You get a wonderful finale in a workshop where people are fighting with tools as we try to stop the killer from finishing his mission. It's a slasher movie. It's a typical slasher movie of the time, an average one that doesn't really boil much above that, but it is a kind of fun one. It's got Brad Pitt in it, which adds to the novelty factor of it. The transfer, as always, looks great. I do like Jill Schoelen as well. I think she's amazing in Popcorn and Stepfather and things like that, and it's nice to see her in other movies I hadn't discovered before. I just feel as if there's a couple of choices in here that make the movie a little bit different from a lot of slashers, and not in a good way, which they probably thought they were going to do. I'd love to know your thoughts on Cutting Class. Let me know in the comment box below, and we'll see you next time on Man v Film.